I want to share something very interesting with you guys. You know, when you start doing something for the sake of Allah and your intention is so clean and so good, keep the intention in check all the time. Make sure that because Allah has granted you success, you don't lose focus from that intention at the beginning. You know, a lot of the times when we start good work, whether it's a charity, whether it's good Islamic work, whether it's humanitarian work for the sake of Allah, whether it is any goodness, when you start it, even when you've just changed your life and you've become a better person, a lot of the times at the beginning there is a good intention, right? At the beginning there is a very good intention where people think to themselves, I'm going to be a better person, I'm going to do this for the sake of Allah. I know a brother who told me I'm going to give 2% of whatever my turnover is from my business for the sake of Allah. When he started off, it was $1,000. It went to 10,000, 100,000, a million, 10 million. And then he started saying, oh, do I still have to give that? And I told him, my brother, no way. You have to never ever change that intention of yours. Same applies sometimes, you know, people start seeing fame and they lose track of that pure intention that was at the beginning. Never do something for name and fame. Don't ever promote yourself. If Allah grants you popularity or some form of acceptance, remember that's a huge test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Always keep yourself humble, keep yourself in check, go back to that intention, look at the intention, renew it again, be hard on yourself and your intention, your goodness, your character, and don't ever let that popularity, fame, money, looks, none of that should actually bother you and affect you, because, meaning in a negative way, because that's when everything goes wrong. That's when everything goes wrong. And trust me, if you always have that intention in check, and if you always remember your humble beginnings, and you always think about Allah's favor upon you, you will never go wrong. In fact, you become a better person as Allah bestows more and more upon you. This is a very important message, because I've noticed a lot of people, even among people who are connected to knowledge, the more they know, the more arrogant they become, the more, they become harsh and hard, and they become critical of others. They become judgmental. That's also terrible, because they didn't know where they started. I remember a mosque I used to frequent, and I still do. And one of the brothers came and told me, why do you go to this mosque? They have some form of a problem. I said, I don't care. Where were you before Allah guided you? Weren't you at the same mosque listening to the lectures I used to deliver? And he closed his eyes for a moment. He pondered. He said, you know what? You're 100% right. And I'm like, gosh, what do you think you're doing? You cannot be so, astaghfirullah. May Allah forgive every one of us and keep us such that we remember our humble beginnings, what affected us, what changed us in a positive way, where we were before we had the wealth, before we had the popularity, before we had the whatever we do have. You've got a good spouse. Allah's blessed you with children. Allah's blessed you with whatever. Remember to be always checking that intention of yours, the sincerity of yours, the goodness. Always ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's guidance and make sure that you don't change. This is where people go wrong. I see charities as well. Some charities, when they're small, they work hard, they have a good intention. After that, they lose track. They lose track of everything. They actually become arrogant. They think that everyone needs them, and they become, they start employing cutthroat measures in order to raise money in a way that they have to defame others. The same applies to scholars sometimes. A lot of scholars sometimes, they think that we have to actually badmouth those who are doing hard work in order for us to become popular and famous. So when they want to become famous, they think that they have to talk bad about someone else so that they can be noticed. It's very sad, and some people are doing this, that if I badmouth someone who's famous, I'll become famous. People won't say, oh, that was the president. They're going to say, oh, look at Jack, he was or a man known as Jack was arguing with the president, so Jack became famous because the president actually responded to him. Or maybe, for example, he became popular due to some silly thing he did. My brothers and sisters, it's not about popularity, it's not about money, it's not about